see the live on. Yeah, I see it. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, I don't get to enjoy any of it. Hold on, let me see if well, I can hear it when I turn up the volume on my phone. It's very pleasant. I can't. I do. How are you today? Yep. I got that going. And then I just shared it to my personal page, my business page. I'm going to bounce over to my business page and share it to my group page for my podcast. Because why not? Oh, someone finally. Oh, that's no fun. Now they can't. But I can't hear you. Whatever you did, I can't. You muted yourself. You muted yourself, bud. I can't hear you.
Boom. Let's get this show on the road. How you guys doing tonight? How are you guys doing? Dr. Mac, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Dr. Mac. We have a special guest, Dr. Mac. No one hears me? How is that even possible? Uh-oh. Dr. Mac. Let's see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dr. Mac, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, now we are we're in the pre-show. I forgot your mic was still on mute. I'm sorry about that. Skype
No,
did
it's
an
okay.
update. Oh, I'm telling the people. Skype did an update
Oh,
and did something to my settings. Can everyone hear me? Just hit the. There we go. So Skype did something. I updated it. It's been like they had 3 updates in like 2 days. So I did every update, and they messed with my settings and everything in my show. So I'm gonna have to edit this out. But we about to get the show on the road. Tonight we're talking self-care. Let's go. How is everyone doing out there tonight? Dr. Mac, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. I am so excited to be here.
I am very excited that you are here. Before we get into it, everyone, listen to it. You have a podcast on Anchor, Apple, Spotify. What else do you have it on?
We're on all the big podcasting sites. It's Mac Performance. I just released my first episode this week. It's on how to find an ethical chiropractor. But overall, the concept of the podcast is how to be a more adulty adult, because being an adult is honestly hard. And
Absolutely.
figuring out health, wellness, how to take care of yourself, not the easiest thing. So I built a podcast to kind of help people conquer some fears and conquer their issues that they need to address.
Boom. So you basically just got the whole intro about her show, and I listened to the first episode, and while I was listening, I was rowing, and it was talking. Well, it wasn't. Well, it was kind of on self care, so I was rowing. I was listening to the whole episode, and I'm ready to die on this thing. And she was making so many valid points about going to the chiropractor and how to find the right one for you and know which ones are real and which ones are not. So I had to reach out to her and had to get on the show so we can talk about self care. How many of you guys are are able to say that, you know, I do self care, not to the definition of what we think self care is, because when I think about it, yeah, I can take care of myself. I can get up, go to the shower, take a shower, go to the gym, cook myself something to eat. Self efficient, self care. No, we're talking about body health, mental wellness. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Dr. Mac, the chiropractic field. I've always felt like doctors and dentists and all of them are scandalous.
I don't think the actual doctors are scandalous. I think where it gets complicated and convoluted is when you involve insurance. That's when things get a little bit messy. I honestly think most doctors have the best intentions for your health. It's just they have to jump through the hoops of insurance, which makes it seem convoluted and not as able to be involved with you.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's just I get yeah, definitely with insurance because you see the prices that they're charging you when you feel like you go in there and then 15 minutes later, maybe 10, or maybe you spend all day and you go home and you feel like nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened.
It I mean, I can only speak to what happens in my clinic, and that is not the case. You're usually sweating, working hard because I want the 30 minutes, maybe an hour that I have with you to be all about getting you to the activity you want to do. I don't know what that is. I work with Minnesota Roller Derby. I work with a marching band, a high performance marching band, and getting these athletes on and off the field safely, that's kind of my wheelhouse and happy time.
That's important, because they got to get back on the field. And I wonder, do other doctors or other people in your field feel the same way? On your show, you talked about how there's little gimmicks, but it's kind of allowed, right? It's not against the law.
So, yeah, a lot of things that chiropractors will utilize that aren't necessarily having your best interest at heart are gimmicky sales methods. So, maybe they take your x-rays and of course you're not trained in how to read them, so they can tell you whatever they want that's on them,
Yeah.
and they use kind of scare tactics and fear to force you into maybe purchasing a care plan that doesn't really fit your needs as a patient. Because ultimately, like for me, you come into the office, I want you in and out of my office in 6 to 8 visits tops, with maybe after that coming in once, twice, every other month, just to kind of keep things in order depending upon what your activity is. If you're diligent on your exercises, you may never have to see me again until you do something stupid like careen into the boards playing hockey. That's a different story. But there are chiropractors out there that try to convince you that you need to be seen 3 and 4 times a week for months and pay exorbitant rates, thousands of dollars to buy these care packages that really is an over treatment of the condition that you have.
Mm.
And they'll also use terms like vertebral subluxation.
I don't know
Here's an
what that
issue.
means. What is that?
Yeah. So here's the thing. When it comes to the medical world, there is a thing called a subluxation, and that's where you partially dislocate a joint. So let's say you dislocate your shoulder, and then a while later you kind of pop it out a little bit again and it slides back in. You subluxated your shoulder. That is not something a chiropractor treats. That's where you go to the medical doctor and they do surgery to put it back in place. A vertebral subluxation is a made up word within the chiropractic profession that no one has a good definition of what it actually is. So if you ask chiropractors all over the country, what's a vertebral subluxation? They're going to go, whatever their definition is, and none of them are going to match. So it's not a term that I utilize in practice because there's too much confusion on what it is. When you try to Google it online, you can't get a clear definition, and it just really promotes not understanding. And I want my patients to have complete and total understanding of their health. I don't want them to be confused. I want them to be empowered and have control of their body.
Oh my goodness. You just lift the whole veil over the whole thing.
Yeah, why do we have to have a veil on medicine? Why should you not understand what's going on with your body?
Absolutely.
It's your body.
Yeah. I, why does everything have to be in code or in secret? Why can't I look at my own medical records? I know with the military, like I only got my medical records after I was out. I couldn't. It was like forbidden to even touch it. But the office people could handle and all that, and it was like, why is we so secretive about my? This is my body. I'm the one feeling the pain. Why can't I see? But that is lifting a veil.
I mean, do I let my patients necessarily see their charts? No, because I have to code them into the world of medicine. So I might use terms that you don't understand, and I'll happily explain every single term that I utilize. But if I can put, hey, you have a grade 1 sprain of your MCL,
Mm.
of your right knee, that you don't necessarily know what a sprain is per se. It sounds kind of bad. I've now put a grade on it. Oh God, grades make everything so much worse.
Yeah.
That just kind of makes you stressed out versus if I go, hey, you tweaked your knee a little bit. It's going to be sore for 2 to 3 weeks. Here's how we're going to address it and get you back on the field. And I think it's a grade 1 sprain of your MCL. When we're looking at that medial ligament, it's the one that kind of keeps your knee from being like, I break things down. I'm an over explainer. I'm a teacher. That's just my nature of how I kind of handle things.
Right.
And I feel like doctors have to be teachers. We have to educate our patients. They need to know what all the options are for their body. And that's another issue with my profession is once we get a patient, a lot of chiropractors like to hoard them. I don't want to share. I
Right.
don't want to refer out. And it's like, no, oh my God, I am not an expert in brain surgery. I am not an expert in spinal surgery. If it's a musculoskeletal, so if it's a muscle bone problem, that's my jam. But past that, I need to use the resources of the rest of the medical community and form a team to make you as better as you can be.
That, I mean, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. It's crazy. Like, uh, we went to a chiropractor, and I mean, my wife went and she wanted me to go. So I went, but I wasn't going to get anything done. And the lady threw out all kinds of terms. And I think I think her longest session was maybe 15 minutes or whatever. And we spent all this money. And she felt like she was maybe getting better. But you know how the mind will play your body and make you think you're getting better, or make you think you're getting worse. But we was going to be on a plan for maybe 6 months, 8 months or something like that. And I was like, I'm fine. I'll deal with this pain. I work out. I'll I'll figure it out. I don't want to. And you, I mean, I didn't really
So
see anything wrong.
you don't, so if you're in pain, that's not normal. And
Right.
you shouldn't be in pain. But it also shouldn't take 6 months to get you out of pain.
Right.
Like, let's just take that into consideration. If you're in pain for 6 months and you're not getting better, for me, if you're not 50% better on your first visit, I got to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I have to do something different that same day. Because if I can get you feeling significantly better the first day, everything I do after that is just going to help you feel better. Then I start stacking exercises and activity. Because here's the thing, when it comes to pain and injury, we're recognizing the fact that it's not about ice and it's not about rest. It's about optimally loading the joint, optimally loading the body. Because when we keep an object in motion, it stays in motion.
Absolutely. My mom used to say, if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
I think my mother said the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a mom term
Yeah.
there.
If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So we got some questions. Let me see. Well, before we jump into the question, how do we know who's good, or how do we find this sun? Hold on, this sun is coming in crazy. I
It's
thought I
just
picked a
giving you a
good
great
time. I
halo.
know.
It's a
Just
great halo.
um, how do we know which ones to trust? Like when they start immediately start throwing out these big words, is that a red flag? Like, not you.
I don't necessarily think the big words. If they're throwing out vertebral subluxation and the cause of all disease, that's a turn around and kind of walk out the door moment. If they immediately say you have to get x-rays without taking a history and doing an exam, and I'm talking like an exam, I spend 30 minutes going through a history and exam with all my patients, putting them through movements. That can be a red flag. But before you even get on into the office, you can look at their website. Do they put an inordinate, do they emphasize an adjustment beyond just being for musculoskeletal care? So when you look at what conditions do they treat? Do they treat something that's not pain, low back pain, headache, elbow, knee, foot, ankle? Are they saying they treat some of the ones that that get my like anger going? Do they say they treat ADHD? Do they
Mm.
say they treat autism? Do they say they treat conditions that, no, that's not what we treat. We are musculoskeletal specialists. And that's a good way to just kind of vet them out. Now, really, the fastest way to find an ethical chiropractor is to go to the Forward Thinking Chiropractic Alliance member map. And I know that's a really big name. It's the FTCA. I will send you a link so you can post it.
Yeah, because I was about to type it into the theme, but you said it so fast.
I know. I'll send you a link after we're done here so that everybody can have it. That is actually a evidence-based member thing that goes across the entire world. We have members across the entire country, over in Australia, over in the UK, down in South America, because we want to make sure that there are trusted people to send. Because what do I do when I have a patient that moves? I just had one of my athletes move into Wisconsin. I had to find them a provider that was trusted, and I didn't necessarily know, but I could go to the map, quickly look it up, and send them the information and go, this is someone I trust for you. This is who I think you'll be a good fit with.
That's good. We're gonna make sure we get that link so you guys that are trying to get your back worked on, you have somewhere you can go and trust that this is the right information without using Google to find the nearest chiropractor near me, which can be
I
a
mean,
scam.
you can use Google. You
Hmm.
just then have to go through their website, read through it. And again, my entire episode is based off that. I'm actually writing a blog, so if someone wants to just reference the blog, they can go there and just go through it. And I know I'm going to get some hate from fellow chiros because I'm peeling back the veil to the business management scam that they've done to people, and it makes me so mad.
That's ridiculous. That's
But
ridiculous.
here's the thing, chiropractic is one aspect of self-care you can do. But there are so many others. And I think people get really caught up into the thought process of self-care being, I have to pay, go to the spa, get my nails done, maybe get a massage, or I have to pay for these expensive classes. And it doesn't have to actually cost any money to have self-care.
Yeah.
Like, or really take that much time, because all of us are busy.
Mm-hmm.
We all have insane lives that just don't necessarily have time to take and go off and spend 2 hours doing a self-care activity. What if you simply took 10 minutes during your lunch and went into an office, turned off the lights, sat on the ground, and just breathed deeply and thought of 2 words that empowered you? You just did self-care.
That is self-care.
Or simply getting up, taking a walk, drinking enough water throughout the day, shutting off your electronics for, like, I like to do electronic free. Granted, you'd never guess that with how often I'm on our.
Oh yeah, we've been.
I get made fun of. But turning off your electronics and just having like 30 minutes not attached, that's self-care.
Mm-hmm.
It can be that simple and that accessible. Because a lot of people think of self-care as being a very expensive activity or something that I can't access.
Mm-hmm.
And really, whatever brings you peace, happiness, overall wellness, that's self-care.
How do we tie self-care into our body health?
So this is where we start to have to make some conscious decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And those conscious decisions can be how much sleep you're getting at night. And I'm not talking about the amount of time you're physically laying in bed, because we can all lay in bed for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like garbage.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about quality sleep, where you've shut off the electronics, you've shut off the TV, you're in a cooler environment. You have maybe some white noise of a fan if you need it. Maybe you've removed the pets, or for me, removed my cats from the room so they don't walk across my head in the middle of the night. But it's getting that quality, deep, restful sleep. And if you're wondering, am I actually having restful sleep? Like, use some of the apps on our phone. I just downloaded an app called Pillow, and it's simply where I can set my phone next to the bed, and it just tracks my movement and lets me know if I actually got a restful night's sleep, and then will wake me in a more ideal sleep phase, so I wake up feeling more refreshed.
That's good right there. I like that, because I know sometimes I take like a power nap, and sometimes it'll go further, and then I just get up like, I thought I needed that, but it was too much. It was too much. Let's see. I think we had a question. What is important in your practice? Like, what, I think someone said that. What is important? Yeah. What is important in your practice, I guess, is the question. Like, what do you try to hit on or focus on?
If I had to put a word, it's empowerment. I want you to know that you shouldn't fear movement. You shouldn't fear your body. You shouldn't ever feel like you're going to be disabled or that your body's betraying you. I want to empower you to take control of your body. And I'm going to do that through, one, if you're in so much pain, we're going to start with simple things. So adjusting, maybe some soft tissue care, but ultimately, I'm going to give you exercises and activities to get you back, get you to do what you need to do.
That's a good one. Another one came in, well, I guess we already answered your best self-care advice.
Oh, yeah, I did kind of give, just recognize self-care is about you, and everybody's self-care is going to be different. What recharges your batteries is going to be different than what recharges my batteries. Some people, it's going to the gym. Mm-hmm. Other people, it's going to be sitting quietly at home. For some, maybe if you have a bunch of kiddos running around, it's simply taking a 5-minute shower uninterrupted. That is your self-care.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. That makes total sense. Everyone's self care is a little bit different. I know sometimes mine is definitely going to the gym and, basically wanting to be in pain the following day because I want to just lift everything and get all that out and just be like, wake up the following. It was a good workout. Oh, I can't move. But that's okay. I feel good in that moment.
I mean, I fully admit I'm the angry deadlift person.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
oh, I'm just rack up about 300 pounds. Let's go.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah. Right now, my personal best on deadlift is 350s, squats
Nice.
325. I I I move some weight.
There we go. There we go. So here's a question: is deadlifting or squatting bad for your back? Because I've heard even if you have like excellent form, you're doing some kind of damage to your back, your lower back, or you're doing something to your vertebrae. Is that true?
I'm a chiropractor who deadlifts.
There it is, folks.
I
There
mean,
it is.
here's the thing. One of my really good friends, and he's also a world powerlifter. He is currently deadlifting, I think, close to 980 pounds. His goal is to break 1,000 by the end of this year. He's a chiropractor and he's lifting that.
Wow. So as long as
Here's the
you
thing.
form and do it correctly, you're fine.
And it's all about load. If you haven't ever deadlift and you go and rack up 135 pounds on a deadlift and try to lift it, you're probably not going to do it well. And
Hmm.
that could cause issues.
Absolutely.
So it's all about scaling and loading. You would never just put a toddler on a adult bicycle and just push them out on the road and go pedal.
That's
No,
foolish.
you start with a trike, then you move them to a bike with training wheels,
Hmm.
and then you start to progressively start to move them into an adult bike. Why don't we treat our bodies the same way and actually scale what we're going to do?
Wow. Ego. I mean,
You said it, not me.
ego. Well, so when I'm there and I'm doing my like, because I have to fight the ego, and I see people and I might see a smaller person like lifting weight. I'm like, man, I could do that. That's nothing. And I have to check myself. I'm like, I'm not even doing that today. I'm not even about to go over there and hurt myself. Calm down. You have to check yourself, or you end up getting injured. And the ego is a huge part of that.
We are competitive creatures by nature.
Yeah.
We want to just go. And we sometimes have to check ourselves because here's something. Sadly, as we age, the activities we did when we were like in our teens or in our 20s are not necessarily going to be the best activities as we age.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of have to make some modifications because as we get older, we get a little bit more immobile.
Mm.
So we get a little stiffer. So it can be beneficial to start implementing a yoga routine to just kind of keep things moving and mobile while still doing some lifting.
So you're
So that's
telling me? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so yes, I am telling you, you probably need to stretch.
I see. I tried the stretching thing so many times. Even when I was in the military, I tried the stretching thing, and the muscles, they just don't like to stretch. They like to sit tight and look good in a nice rock formation. They don't want to, stretch and be limber. So that's
I mean,
that's
I'm not saying you got to touch your toes. I'm not saying you have to be able to turn yourself into a pretzel. I'm simply saying you just need to make sure that you don't get so tight. You can't actually get into an appropriate position to squat, to deadlift, to do the activities you're trying to do.
right. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess I gotta start, reaching some sit and reach and what's the some leg stretches I guess before I can't use those
Now,
leg muscles anymore.
so here's a fun thing. If you're really struggling with like not knowing what to do for a stretch, I have a YouTube channel and I have a 16-minute follow along stretch that takes you through a whole body stretch. And all you got to do is hit play and then follow along.
Oh, okay. The doctor does it all, you guys. She has it all. I'm gonna put all this information in the description so you can go and find her podcast and the so you can find a chiropractor if you don't have one, and we can all stretch in the morning and make sure we all limber and we can touch our toes because I can't even touch my
Now,
shins.
now I am going to say this. Stretching is not the be all end all. Do not stretch before your workout.
Don't stretch before working out.
No. You could injure yourself. You want to stretch when you're done.
Oh,
When your muscles are nice and warm. That's when you stretch. It's a cool down. It's a recovery process. Stretching before you work out really can make things feel off and not feel as good. But you want to do a warm up. You just want to make sure it's an active warm up where you're maybe doing high knees and butt kickers and actually actively engaging and getting the muscles and blood flowing versus statically stretching.
wow. I did not know that. Well, I hope that answers that question. How important is stretching? Don't stretch or, warm up before you work out, but do not go into a, hardcore stretching yoga. So how many times should you recommended yoga. How many times should you do yoga? Or should
Depends
you?
upon the person.
Depends on the person.
I try to do yoga once a week just to kind of open things up. Sometimes if I have a bad week where I'm sitting for a long period of time, I will do a hip opener, just a 10-minute hip opener, just to kind of help get my hips a little more mobile because they get really nasty after sitting. Like when you stand up and all of a sudden they cramp and you immediately just flex forward, you're just like, oh my God, why? Why does that hurt so bad?
What about the popping? Is the popping bad?
Like when you move your hip and it kind of
Like,
just
you
snaps.
you get up and you hear a pop
Like,
but it
wait,
doesn't hurt. It's just loud. Yeah, something like that.
no, it's
I'm
fine.
I'm letting all the listeners hear that I have a broken body. The military broke me down, folks. Okay.
Here's something I will tell you. You're not wrong. The military is very destructive. Our bodies aren't necessarily built to wear 40-pound ruck packs
Hmm.
and then ruck
Mm.
for
Yeah,
20, 30 miles.
it is a killer.
I am married to one of you. I am well aware. So he is very spoiled with how often he gets treated. But this is why the Veterans Administration has actually put into their charter that every VA hospital has to have chiropractic care.
Well, I did not know that because I've been getting just some acupuncture where they puncture my ears and that's it. And my body figured a way to reroute the pain. Like at first it worked, and then the body caught on. It's like, no, we'll just come this way. So I'm gonna have to ask about that because I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say every VA has it yet,
Oh, okay.
but they are implementing chiropractors as best they can. So I know here in Minnesota they have it. I know they have it out in Fargo. I know they have it in Ann Arbor, just because I know the docs that are there.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
But
I'm gonna
they're
have to check
trying.
into
They're
it.
really trying to get access to veterans because they do. You destroy your bodies musculoskeletally.
Definitely got to check into that. So you folks, all you veterans, even active duty, when you get out, looking for those chiropractors because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. So, well, Doc, you've been great. Like the class was definitely absorbing all the information. This has been very fun. Do you have any more nuggets that you want to drop on us?
Ooh, here's what I'm going to say. When it comes to self-care, a lot of people get frustrated when they're not successful at doing it
Mm.
or they don't recognize that they're not utilizing it. And in particular, I'm kind of looking at you males. You don't think you deserve self-care. You have your work, you have your family, you have your
Yeah.
kids. But here's the thing. We're given one body to live with.
Right.
We are given one life and we
Mm.
have to take care of this machine so that we can do everything that's needed. When we're well taken care of, when we're well cared for, we're able to care for everyone else around us better.
Spot on. I get. I mean, you're absolutely right because I'll put myself at the back end of self care, and I mean, there's so many levels to the whole self care thing, but definitely like physically, I'll the only thing that will keep me down is a cold. And I mean, a cold. When I get a
Man
cold,
flu.
the world, yeah, I mean, the world is over. I cannot function. I'm not, I cannot function, operate. But self care is definitely important, and I guess it's a mindset, and you just have to take those days to make sure your body's right. You gotta make sure your body is right. So before we get up out of here, folks, let's go ahead and run through the contact information. It, if you're watching on YouTube, no, stay with me. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Doc, what's your channel name? Boom. Make sure you go and subscribe to that channel so you can do your morning stretches with the doctor. If you would like to donate to the show, paypal.me/SeeThroughIt. You can follow me on Twitter, SeeThroughIt1, Facebook.com/STIPODACAST. Give that page a thumbs up, a follow. Post a lot of stuff there, so go ahead and get those numbers up. We're at 432 likes and follows, I believe. So let's get those numbers up. Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Brian Sales. I will be updating this page with my Warriors collection. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And as you see there, I am on the audio. If you don't want to see my face, if you don't want to watch YouTube, my dad said he doesn't like watching YouTube. So now he can just listen all to the audio. I am on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Apple Podcasts. When you make it to Apple, they say you've made it. So I think I've made it, folks. I think. A special thank you to Mr. White and Miss Kasi for their contributions to the show. Greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was fun. That was fun. It's very informative. I hope you guys grabbed all the information. All the information and links that she mentioned will be in the description. The show audio will be up tomorrow before 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you share and retweet all of this. I'll be doing another contest. Speaking of the contest, congratulations to Sally West on winning the giveaway, the See Through It podcast T-shirt, one of these mugs, a gift card, $25 gift card, T-shirt. Thank you for sharing and retweeting these episodes, and we'll be starting up another contest, and it'll be for a whole nother month. It doesn't matter what episode you share and retweet, your name will go. I'll be keeping tally, and at the end of that month, I will announce the winner. So support, support, support. Thank you again for tuning in, folks. Greatly appreciate it. Remember, don't be blinded by the media. Hashtag See Through It. See you guys later.